Şimdi karşımızda Sonmin Aile'nin CEO'su, kurucu CEO'su sevgili Doktor Alex Farsiye var ve kendisiyle yapay zekanın geleceğini, pazarlama tarafında yapay zekanın geleceğini konuşacağız. Dr. Alex Farsiye, welcome to Istanbul and the stage is yours.
Thank you very much. I don't speak Turkish yet, so I'll present in English, but I hope that that wouldn't restrict us. Please ask any questions, and let me also introduce myself a little bit. I'm a university professor. I also have a business in AI, in generative AI, and one of my key passion is not just to running this ad tech company, advertising technology company that I lead, but also to share with the community of what's in there nowadays in the advertising AI, in generative AI, and in all the types of AIs and not AIs. So that's why I decided to give this kind of talk today, which is called The Future of AI. And particularly, we're going to talk about the large language models, those GPTs of our world that's helping us to, do so many things. Some people are afraid they can even replace humans sometimes, right? So, yeah, let's see. Could they do that? This is me. This is my WhatsApp. You guys can reach out to me anytime you want and ask any questions about this session or anything else related to marketing AI as well. So look at this picture. This is how Stable Diffusion thinks an Alexandria library could look like. This is a picture generated by AI. So it's AI generates their image that would represent an Alexandria library. There was a massive library. You look straight, you look to the right and you left, you cannot see the end. There's shelves of books. There's a lot of knowledge in there. This is type of association that comes to my mind when I'm thinking about generative AI, transformer models. I'm thinking about large language models, those types of AI that we're going to discuss today. And this is for the reason. They are like the combination of all human knowledge stored in a computer memory, allowing you to retrieve those knowledge in a very smart way. And this is just like a massive library that if you are Superman, you can just read whole. But since we are not super people, we are not gods, we cannot read all these books in this library. And so it's very hard sometimes for us to get our head around the principles, how large language model works as well. But it was not LLMs that were first. In 1967, we get ELIZA. ELIZA was a very, very simple rule-based type of algorithm, chatbot. You might have asked them, how are you? And then ELIZA was programmed to either say, fine, or maybe say, good, thanks for asking, how about you? Or maybe even give some joking answer like, my data has never been better. ELIZA was not a sophisticated system. You can play with it on the internet, you can Google ELIZA and try to communicate with this chatbot. But what ELIZA's cool key role was in 1967, it actually brought attention to all those language systems. It starts showing people that, you don't necessarily need to have a human to handle those communication tasks, call centers. You could actually have computers replacing us, at least in some tasks. This has been all developed over time, and we've got something we call recurrent neural networks, or LSTMs, long short-term memory networks. In 1997, they were introduced. They were a type of neural networks that were quite, popular. We used quite a bit. And I think what was really important there is that in this type of neural network, we've got a lot of sequential data being recorded in the artificial brain of our neural network, right? So it remembers the whole, usually short context. So when you make a query into there, the mouse eats the neural network would literally process every single word in there. It would be the mouse eats the, and then in this particular case, very easy to produce the answer something like cheese in the end, because everybody knows mouses like cheese, and there's so much content in internet and the human knowledge that mouse likes cheese, so the neural network will have no problem to output this response. However, if we will try to fit LSTM with something a little bit more complicated, something like on top, when I saw Dorothy and Scarecrow the other day, I went to her and said hi. Then LSTM will actually have a problem to respond hi Dorothy, or maybe hi Scarecrow, or maybe hi other day. Literally, it could output hi other day, because other day is not that far from Dorothy, and not that far from the hi and z, and they're all equally possible. So we start dealing with a more complicated context and more complicated sentences, and that become an issue. So in 2017, Google started really having a bottleneck here when it comes to their translation systems, and they start working on something new to do a better translation, and then they come up with a transformer architecture. And transformer architecture got something very, very special as compared to LSTMs. If LSTM was processing the mouse eats the and then output cheese, transformer models are actually capable of put attention, the so-called attention, on particular parts of the whole context. I saw Dorothy, I went to her. From her, it's obviously that Dorothy is female, yeah, like some gender, whatever, language components. Then you can say hi Dorothy. Very, very pretty straightforward for transformer models, but not for LSTMs. So these transformer models were further developed. We've got GPT-2, GPT-3. Then after we get ChatGPT, everybody starts suddenly know what's going on there, what's transformers, what's large language models. Then we get GPT-4, which is a multimodal. But overall, one takeaway you would really want to gain from this lecture is just to know that transformer models are capable of putting attention on particular pieces of the context instead of remembering everything and using it for their predictions. And therefore, nowadays, we can have GPT-4 that remembers literally whole internet. But despite being very accurate in giving particular answer to particular questions, because it can figure out the attention on particular pieces of the data instead of using the whole data to make this kind of decisions. So how does AI see the world? Apparently, AI doesn't see the world how we do. If we see a casual business meeting like this lady would, business meeting, that's the only thing we will say. AI would start counting the tables, the laptops, the number of people inside there, a little pixel dot somewhere on the door, or what's written on the door plate in there, or the monitor, or the people that behind the glass door. So all these things show that AI thinks in a very, very different fashion. So when you see this kind of picture of a park, instead of saying it's a park, AI will be counting trees, stairs, people inside there, and we call it visual object categorization and AI concept learning. If we think of this in a larger scale, we will see that for AI, it's pretty much an issue to differentiate the squirrel or maybe a little bunny or maybe a fighter jet. For them, it's an issue. They have to really train how to distinguish squirrel from a fighter jet, because these two objects are equally possible in the AI world to be appearing in the images that AI process. So we end up training a huge systems that have tens of thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands of different concepts that we want to predict. So this is another takeaway for you. It's not that the attention and transformer models are capable of processing a large data because of this mechanics of attention putting on the images. But the second thing, that AI sees the world like this, not like this. This is how humans see it. AI sees this way or this way. So it pretty much breaks down every single pixel. It spreads in thousands of, tens of thousands of different objects it could deal with, and then after that, it comes up with its own representation of the world, its own understanding of the world. So in the real world, that could be said from the Meta, from Facebook, for example. What the screenshot is. This screenshot shows us the image captions that Facebook put on its images in a situation when the servers of Meta broke down and it cannot show the actual image was there. So Meta replaced that with some kind of hint what could be there, and those hints made night sky, outdoor, flower, tree, sky, one or more people, shoes, and indoor shoes. Yeah, it detects shoes. It didn't detect even legs of humans. It detects shoes, because this is how AI thinks, and Meta is using this. But ask yourself, what's a Meta, Facebook, Google, TikTok, are they using these predictions, doing these predictions just for the whole purpose, just to draw captions on our content? Of course not. Of course, we can all make jokes about it, post Twitter images saying, hey, you see, Meta calculated the wrong number of people on the image. But the reason why Meta particularly doing this is because they want to profile each and everyone to show us the ads correctly. And I think this is how our talk become more related to digital advertising and marketing. It's not that the AI can process a huge amounts of data. Actually, AI have to represent the data in a very smart fashion. For example, in terms of the objects inside there, and the modern systems, social networks that you are using every day, they're doing these things all the time, day and night, profiling everyone. So what does it mean for marketers, or for sales, or just for everyone? What does it mean? Well, it means that people like me, for example, marketing, see, it looks pretty similar. Same, that different color of the cap. Maybe I don't wear a hoodie today, but I know I'm known as a marketer, as entrepreneur, as the public speaker. But none of you know that actually I really like to play accordion, and I'm actually quite famous there as well, but in a very close circles. So the accordion is my psychographics. Is those hidden interests that are related to the way I make decisions in life. If somebody give me a marketing ad, for example, or marketing content, I wouldn't be reacting it because I'm so tired of it. I'm always seeing it. But if somebody would show me something related to accordions, to music, I will be very excited. This is my psychographics. This is something that pushed me to make decisions. So the output number 3 from this lecture is not that just LLMs can really read the language with the context and attention in it, but also that AI sees the world in the forms of objects, and that people very often have a lot of personality traits that represent them much, much better than those objects that AIs of our world see around us. So that's a little case study. We created a system that can download a lot of data from social media, millions of social media accounts, and use that data to extract our actual interests. For example, bankers in Istanbul tend to, I don't know, eat kebab in the evenings, right? Then why would we sell banking products through banking and fight against everyone else if we can sell those products through kebab, in case AI found this kind of relationships by looking in their content and predicting stuff? So we were following this idea. We analyzed lots of the content. We were able to dig into millions of data points in Turkey to understand what is a particular preference of each of these people related to, for example, banking industry. And then only found those interests that from one point of view are quite significant trait of the population, but from another point of view are not as expensive to fight for when you start trying to show the digital ads. And we can run and optimize this campaign. So for Citibank, it's all resulted in a lot of decrease of the cost of the ads, because these advertisers were no longer pushing for banking products. They were pushing for things like roof tiles, blockchain, athletes, seed, weight loss. If you want to lose weight, does it mean you're not going to get a credit card? Of course you're going to get a credit card, but you will never see the ads for credit cards, because you never show that to TikTok, to Facebook, that you are so much need the credit cards. But through your psychographics, you actually can catch this need. And if you run a lot of tests, really a lot of tests, trying different types of psychographic people that we discover from the data, you can do a much better result in terms of your advertisement as well. So let's take one of these audiences. Let's take the audience that drive 43% cheaper cost per lead. What this audience was targeted? This audience was targeting skyscrapers, boutiques, billboards, painting, blockchain, roof tile, this kind of interests. So now we can actually use generative AI, large language model, to explain who these people are. And Sam Altman have said exactly this in Singapore. When I met him in Singapore this June, he was saying, generative AI, large language models, is not about generating articles. It's not about generating, those posts and stuff. It's actually about bridging the gap between humans and computers. Last time we had the punch cards, then we had mouses and keyboards, and it was already easier. Then after that we get touch screen, and it was really easy. My 3-year-old daughter can do touch screen on her smartphone better than I do. Now it's a new era, is when AI explains output of other AI or data and analytics, so that human can grasp the results, not just the stuff. So instead of seeing this, we now can see this. Fully AI-generated customer persona that can go to strategy team, to the CEO, to CMO, explaining who was the top one audience of Citibank in the Middle East, who was buying the credit cards from banks. And it's a full description. It actually tells you how can you even shape the product according to those people that are reacting on the ads in the long tail. And you would never see this 40-year-old tech enthusiast in a agency briefings or marketing team briefings, simply because they never would think that these people will be picking up the credit cards in this market. So this is where it all comes together. It's not just about summarizing and writing marketing content. No, it's not. It's also not about profiling the world and targeting ads better. Of course, you can get better results, but it's not. What truly large language models bring us as an opportunity is the ability for us to really understand the analytics much better, score and profile the content much better, look at our ads automatically, make a better decision why we and where we want to show the ads, what kind of persona we want to show our ads to, literally empowering us to run business in a much better fashion. So nowadays, we can do a lot of things automatically. So in this video, one thing that you see is, for example, how can you analyze somebody's health communication. So here you see car leasing companies in the UK. One is called Zen Auto, another one is called Carwow. All these companies running ads. You can have access to those ads, but you don't know how well those ads performed for them usually as a marketer. So you just start playing a guesswork. You're thinking, okay, maybe this ad look nice, maybe it works for them. Or you can start out saying, okay, maybe these ads run for long enough, so maybe it's not a bad ad. That's what marketers are using nowadays. But with large language models, with generative AI, you can literally predict what are the top identified objects on the internet content that works for you. You can predict which content actually works better than others. If you run a lot of ads in the past, now you can predict, even before you run your ad, even before you post your social media post, you can tell whether they're going to work or not, whether people are going to react to it or not, click on it or not, purchase from it or not. But not just predict, but you can also tell why. You can actually draw the heat map on the content that will be showing, okay, for this particular piece, what is important is the medal and the facial expression of the lady, in particular ads and the copies. But this is all just AI. We're a generative AI piece of it. Very simple. It comes further. For us as a business owners, or directors, marketers, it's pretty hard to analyze all these plots every single day. we could pass this job to some junior people, but we might not be able to get good results or results that we expect. Nowadays, you can actually use large language models to do the full breakdown of what's going on. For example, you can see who is the audience of these brands. CarWow is focused on car sellers and car buyers, but for example, Zen Auto have so many different categories in this area, including national team football fans. They literally sell cars leasing to national football fans, or women's football fans, or car owners, or even online shoppers, car leasing for online shoppers. These kind of insights you would never know about your competitors. But with generative AI, it can really generate and analyze the whole audience and tell you, hey, your competitor now running ads that are targeting national female football team. And those ads are working so much better as compared to your traditional ads that you're running for your car leasing services. And the customer needs that they address is convenience and ease. And what really works for them is showing themselves as a defender brand, the brand that makes you feel very secure in any situation. And what really works with them in terms of product focus is particular car models like Cupra, like Bentley, and all these kind of things. So last time, you were able to generate this kind of stuff by humans in months, tens of thousands of dollars. Nowadays, you're going to get this in 30 seconds by the power of generative network. And with this kind of analytics, business owners can do way better decisions when it comes for they to really understand the stuff, to really see what's going on in the industry and make such decisions that actually truly impact their business, instead of generating just a couple more texts that they can put inside their content. So this talk, I really wanted you to look at generative AI, ChatGPT, not as a chatbot, not as a system that's helping you to, just generate some stuff and play with it. It can go beyond that. I want you to look at it as a new way of how humans can communicate with computers. And because more humans now can even talk to Photoshop, all these very normal daily applications that we have, this is going to be a really big market. And definitely humans not going to be replaced by AI, but humans with AI definitely going to take the jobs of humans and don't use it. So I encourage you all guys to start using it as fast as you can, and definitely apply it in every single hour, every single minute of your daily journey in your job.
Thank you very much, dear Alex. It was a very good presentation, and we are going to change the next presentation. Thank you.